Hello everybody, and welcome back to Galactic Quest. This is E from Silver-Haired Gaming. And well, after that mess in the Nether, in case you haven't seen it, check out the previous episode about me going to the Nether, dying a bunch of times, and, well, it was just a mess. But I sorted it all out, and I made a lot of progress, and I ran into a small snag, and I'll show you what happened. I got, So I got the plastic sheets and everything I need for Minefactory reloaded, and I got everything set up, and then I came to a bug, an issue, where Minefactory reloaded does not support magical crops. And I didn't realize that because in 1.6.4 they did... Oh, hello there, random burst plant. I did not know that in the 1.7.10 version that it doesn't support it. So I went through all the trouble of making my harvester and my planter, and it wouldn't work with magical crops. So, oh well. So I emptied out the old farm and just decided to, since I went through the trouble of making the machines, might as well give them a use. So it's now my cotton, wheat, potato, and carrot farm. So, but I'll show you downstairs the setup. And I've decided to then we're going to switch over to Ender.io because I know for a fact, and I did look it up to check, that it does support magical crops. So, and it has a similar machine that will do both the harvester and the planter's work all at the same time. So you see, there we go, slowly but surely making tons of food. So I will never ever run out of food. And what I did is that I jumped to another tier of magical crops. I started with iron, gold, and ender crops, which is just awesome. And I went back to the nether, got some more blaze rods and all that. So I'll probably make some blaze seeds so I won't have to go back there again. But this is perfect because I can now make ender pearls whenever I want. I don't have to go hunting for endermen anymore. And look at this. Okay, if you can believe it, all this time, I think this is episode 7, finally, one of the plants has matured. So there. Yay. I don't know. For the heck of it, I'll probably just plant it again. But there we go. Another ender pearl. Yay. But anyways, gathered a bunch of resources for Ender.io, started the setup. I'll show you the two beginning machines, which are very much like the pulverizer and the redstone furnace for thermal expansion. They do very similar things. Let's go to sleep first so we don't have to worry about... And I'll show you what I did. I set up and wait for the big reveal. In fact, we'll go outside and sneak in. So, you know the ender portal's here. And, you know what? Let's go ahead and show you what I did in the nether. Why not? It can't hurt. Because I've completely solved my mid-game power issue. I went ahead with the blaze rods. I got... Oh, great. There's always somebody nasty in here. Hey, look, it's another heat scar spider. These guys are everywhere. I can handle them now. I've got a proper sword. So, yes. Down here, if you follow my little pathway that led to my nether fortress, I split off and built a pump and the ender tank so that I could transport all of the lava I could ever need back home to use my magmatic dynamos to generate power. These big jerks. So I'll show you what I built. And I'll show you the pump I used as well. It's called a... Oh, jeez Louise. An Endothermic Pump. Cool door, huh? There we go. Okay, so there's a magmatic dynamo which just powers this pump. It's called Endothermic Pump from Extra Utilities, and it's not too awful tough to make. You do need some ender pearls for it to work. And then there's the ender tank. So what this does is that it works just like an ender chest. Any fluid, it could be water, oil, whatever, just a fluid, it'll transport it from this one to the next one. You can't see the very top of it, but on the top there's 3 little pads that you can color code. So if you splash a dye on one of those 3, you can give specific routes to specific tanks from point A to point B. So if I were to eventually, and I may do this, use one of these ender tanks to transport oil back to my base to refine it for fuel, it won't get confused as to where to send it. Because if I don't change the color, it'll want to send it all to the same tank. And we won't want that because we can't have lava and oil in the same tank. It just won't work. So I'll be able to show you that in a minute. So here's my Mac dynamo, full of lava, just generating power. And really, this thing doesn't require a ton of power. But what's really great about this endothermic pump is that what it does is, as long as it's right above the one block above a source of lava, as it is now, it'll just grab anything along that plane that is lava. And you know it's done. It doesn't run across the problem that some of the other pumps does, where if the lava or any fluid for that matter doesn't flow into like the pipe that it extends down to, it won't be able to draw anything. This, as long as it's one block above the surface of a pool, it'll continue to pump it. So it's really helpful. It's really, really, really great. And what it does is that, oh jeez, you know it's working. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's in the lava. Let's see if I can do it again. Oh, in case you haven't noticed, I made a Tinker's Construct Pinky Sword. There we go. All right, well, that's it for that. But as it pumps, you know it's taking the block out. It replaces it with stone, which is pretty cool. Or cobble, apparently. So you know it's already pumped all the lava off this block. And what will happen over time, if I use enough power, this whole lake of lava will just become stone. And if I have to, I can move it to another lake. But I don't know. I imagine I could probably play the rest of this whole series without having to want to move that. The only thing I'm going to run into eventually is that the magmatic dynamos I made won't generate enough power for my needs. And I could do a couple of things. I could just make a bunch more magmatic dynamos, but I may end up needing to go to big reactors like I spoke about earlier. But you know what? We'll wait about that when we come to it. So I hooked this up, got it all set up to work, and I'll show you. I made 5 magmatic dynamos. So I just made a bank of dynamos that the jeez Louise, these things are everywhere. Where's your little young ones? There they are. Die, 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 die. Ay, 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 they're just a mess. See, this is why I don't want to come back here, because they are everywhere. My gosh, I'm out of here. Forget this. Because these heat scar spiders, they wither you. They're just mean in 1,000 different ways. But you can't get in this doorway, can ya? Because you need 2 blocks wide. Oh my gosh. All right, let's get out of here. Hopefully I'll never have to come back here again. Of course, you know I will at some point, because I'll have forgotten something. And we're back. And here we go. Perfect. So there's the under tank. Those are the 3 white pads. They're just little wool pads that you can color code. So I didn't color code any of these. So the one in the nether is just 3 white, and this is 3 white. So it knows to go to that tank. If I were to make one, you know, blue, red, white, and if the other one's blue, red, white, that means they're linked together. So nothing else, no other ender tank will connect to that one no matter what. Now the other reason I switched to Ender IO is because of the conduit system, and it's just a really, really awesome conduit system. And there's one key reason why, and I will go downstairs to show you the planter and harvester setup to represent why it's so incredible. Actually, I made a couple, like what I call Jeffrey's tubes to get around. If you're a Star Trek fan, you'll get that joke. What this does is it allows any number of multiple conduits to exist in the same space, where with Fluix ducts and all the different ducts and stuff from like thermal expansion and any of the other mods I could think of off the top of my head, you need to have, like, one of their ducts takes up a single block. Well, this one I have right here, I have 3 different conduits running through the same block, and it's perfect. It's such a space saver, and it knows to separate them. So I have power, which is the pink one with a little electricity on it. I have items, which is this one right here, this little item conduit. And I have a fluid conduit. Oh, you see that stuff running down? I'll tell you what that is in a second. So I have fluid, power, and items all taking up 1 block space, which is just such a space saver. I don't have to route 1,000 cables around, you know, the machine to get everything in and out of it that I need to. It's just such a lifesaver, and I love it. And the fluid that's falling out of this planter would normally, or from this harvester, excuse me, would normally pile up here. It's called sludge. It's that really gross, black-looking, oily stuff that sometimes generates in the world. And the only way to get rid of it is to build a sludge boiler, and it comes up in here and it burns it basically. And what happens is that a byproduct of the sludge boiler gives you random stuff, but it's mostly just crap. It's like it generates hardened soil and mud, and the only one item that it generates as a byproduct that's useful is clay. But I have the magical crop set up so I can make clay whenever I want to. So I'm just automatically sending any item that it generates into a trash can, and this trash can just basically deletes the item, so I don't have to worry about it stuff piling up or anything like that. So here, I'll take you through my Jeffries tubes. So I dug out power so I could reach out to this other platform I built where I'll make my planter, and lit it up. At first I didn't light it up, and of course what happened? It was a zombie infested Jeffries tubes. So yeah, and it's powered up to now. The one thermal expansion item I did use, but I'll probably replace with an Ender IO item, is this hardened energy cell, because it's really cheap to make. It only requires some Invar and some redstone block, and this is basically a gigantic battery, and it holds 2 million RF. So for my needs right now, that's plenty. And it's just a buffer. So if for whatever reason I have every machine running at a time, this will be a nice little backup, allowing the magmatic dynamos here to catch up. And you see I've got the fluid piping into the back of these magmatic dynamos, and the energy conduits piping into here, and then you can't see it, but underneath here is where I have the conduit. And I have the conduits running through the wall, because what I will be able to make, I don't know if I'll get to it today, but the other part about these Ender IO conduits that's just so incredible is that you can make facades for them, and you can hide them inside of walls. So eventually, which you can't do with the thermal expansion ones. So what I can do is, once I finish connecting everything up again, I'll be able to create and you won't see these anymore. They'll be there, but you won't see them. And as soon as I put a machine or whatever, it'll automatically connect to it. But I'll be able to hide everything, so you won't even know that there's power running through the walls. Really cool and really neat. So yeah, that's that. Now, to get into Ender IO, I went ahead and made the first two machines because I needed them to make all the different alloys and stuff for this. But this has a sag mill and an alloy smelter, and I put them right below the pulverizer and the redstone furnace because they are the equivalent machines for Ender IO. The key difference here between the pulverizer and the sag mill, actually they're almost identical. They do the same thing. It processes the ore, it crushes it down, and it'll give you multiple things out of a single block. If you put cobblestone in it, it'll give you gravel, and there's a chance of giving you some sand in addition to that, and so on and so forth. But where they really separate themselves is between the furnace and the smelter. What this thing does is it'll process anything like a normal furnace would, but it'll also make alloys without having to turn things into powder like you would with this. Like normally to make Invar, I'd have to crush iron and I'd have to crush ferrous, make the blend of a powder, and then put it in the furnace. This, I can put the individual parts all at once. It'll smelt them together into whatever alloy I make. And you can switch this. It can be furnace mode only, furnace mode, all smelting, or both. So it'll be alloys only, furnace only, or all smelting. I just kind of leave it on all smelting unless I have to do something else. But this will also work like a normal furnace for anything else as well if you want it to. It's really helpful. It's interesting that it works similar to the smeltery, that you just have to put the equivalent items in to make the alloy that you want. So that's helpful. And this also has configuration buttons. But this one looks really cool. The user interface is really fun because it shows you a 3D representation of what you want to do. And all you have to do is click on the side that I want to do anything. So right now it's none. If I click on this, right-click pull, which means it'll pull items. And you see it's color-coded again up top. Or I can push items out. I'm not going to send anything out right now, or I can disable it. I'm going to probably just disable this just in case. I accidentally processed something in that pulverizer and it drops down to the sawmill or sag mill for whatever reason. So this is a really cool configuration, and again, it's pretty idiot proof. So it's really, really helpful. Some of the other mods have somewhat difficult configurations. Mechanism, which will probably be the next thing we get into tech-wise, can get a little confusing, but I'll try to make it easy. So we'll see. Wow, I still got more of these flame strings, and I think the only thing I can make these, I think I can make a special bow with them. Let's see. Yeah, fuse wood bow. So this is from Natura, or Natura, I don't know how you say it, and you use the nether woods to make a bow. And well, that one's got really high durability, but I think that's the only thing I can do with this string. So it's really, in the end, kind of pointless. But I'll take it. Well, there's my XP. I'll put it in here with the rest of it that I've got over a stack of it already. You see, there's all my swords I made. I lost one or two. Coming back and forth through the nether, trying to get all my stuff back. Yeah, that was no fun whatsoever. So, what I want to make here is a farming station. I already have it up here. And what I need is some electric steel. I need a diamond hoe, a machine frame, which is very similar to the setup for thermal expansion. Iron bars and iron, so it doesn't need any glass or anything. But this machine frame is the base for all of their machines. If you want to make an Ender-IO machine of any kind, you have to make this chassis first to build off of. So let's go back to that. So these things are easy. The pulsating crystal and the Z-Logic controller. Now this is their version of, like with thermal expansion, the redstone or the transmission coils and all those things. But what's interesting about Ender-IO, and it's kind of fun, is that they use mob heads to make their circuits, basically. It's a little weird, but it's fun. And that's the reason I made, and I'll show you my sword here, Bubblegum Slayer. And you'll see there I added a, I've got writable, slimy, reinforced sharpness, so I added some, the quartz to it to give it added attack damage. You see now it's up plus 14 attack damage. And beheading, which is why I added this. And you do that by adding an ender pearl and a block of obsidian to it. It'll give it the beheading. So it has a 10% chance of any mob that I kill of dropping its head, which is pretty cool. One thing I didn't add to this, which I probably should at some point, is I didn't add a ball of moss. I still have one modifier remaining, so I don't know whether I'll use that on the ball of moss or whether I'll just add more sharpening to it. Because, you know, I'm not going to use this blade as much as I would any of my other tools, probably. But, yeah, so beheading. And I did that because I need those mob heads for this. And so I will pause for a second and come back when the splice and dice is done. See ya. So put the solarium in the spots, and boom, I have my splice and dice. And it's feeding with power. So it should be drawing, is it drawing from here first? No, it's actually drawing from way back in the buffers of this first. So I don't know if I can change that or not. It really doesn't matter, because each one of these has a buffer, this has a buffer, and individual machines have buffers. So I've got basically backup power everywhere. And I am going to replace this with a similar object from Ender-IO that's really beneficial, because there's a couple of, for power management, there's specifically a block, a machine that's, I can't remember what it's called, but anyways, I'll show it to you later, that shows you exactly how much power you're using versus what you need, and it's just really helpful. So I actually need to make another set of, I forgot about that. Oh, I'm not going to have enough wood, so I'll make another one of these, and shear. So these will degrade over time as this machine makes the requisite things it needs. So let's go back to the planter. Planting station. Is it planting station? No, farming station. That's what it's called. Farming station. There we go. Farming station. Okay. So I do need a diamond hoe. I need to go get more diamonds, because I think I only have a couple left. So, you know what? We'll leave it at this for now, and we'll finish this up in the next episode. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye!